Hey everyone, Mike Machado here, team leader at KW Complete Realty. I'm excited today for today's guest because we just wrapped up List and Sell Like a Pro with a good friend for a long time, Chris Leader. He was in here giving a lot of nuggets to our agents about listing and selling like a pro in this challenging market. So welcome aboard, Chris. Thanks for coming down and seeing us.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It was wonderful. By the way, your office is really nice. I love the whole sort of industrial commercial vibe thing with the high polished concrete floors, and it's really a cool office. So
Thank you.
I'm very proud of this. And I'd be very proud as a real estate agent if I called this home. So I think that it's well done and very well laid out. Very nice office. I was very impressed.
Thank
very
you.
impressed.
Yes, I am very proud of our office space. I think it brings a good new energy, and I'm a firm believer that environment is very important, and if agents know that they have a happy place, a cool place that they're proud of, because we want our agents too to come into a proud office with their clients and they're not embarrassed that it still looks like 1996.
Oh no, yours is got a real hip vibe, very youthful look to the office. So I mean, I think everybody would be proud to bring their parents in, their clients in, everybody in to come and have a look. So you should be very proud of it. I'm very, very impressed.
But, thanks for coming down, to talk about our agents. And today's talk really was, with such a drastic market shift, and it just seems to be dragging along. And many of our agents haven't seen this. And you've been around for a long time.
Too long.
And, the 90s was kind of that. It was that stagnant drought, if you would, of buyers that just laggard. And, at first we thought, oh, this may be 2008. And it'll be over soon. Right. And all of a sudden our agents came to me and be like, Mike, the storm isn't over. Why is it dragging? And that's when I reached out because obviously it appears to me anyways, and I'd like your thoughts on it, that what we're seeing isn't 2008. It's not a 1 year, a year and a half hiccup. It seems to be dragging quite a bit.
So I'd first say that the recession we saw in 2008 really, I'm not even sure if it lasted that long. It was really sort of peaked around November 2008. It was, the whole real estate industry wasn't sure, but we in Canada really avoided the 2008 short sale market. When what you saw in the U.S. when they had that movie out, The Big Short.
That's right.
We didn't have that same impact, and values down there kind of was like a whole reset on the real estate market. Values dropped in some cases by 40%. If we had a moment or two in 2008 where the market slowed down, we certainly didn't maybe record it that significantly in price. And then when you think about it, really since about 2000, for the last 25 years, the Canadian real estate market's been going up, up. The bigger problem today isn't interest rates, in my opinion. It's affordability, because we've not seen a sort of a rebalancing of the real estate market from a pricing perspective up until now. And it's a little painful now. What we're seeing is, again, very similar to like a 1990 recession. And I know the rest of the world really hasn't said recession. I mean, the premier in Ontario doesn't use the word recession. The new prime minister doesn't use the word recession. But if we were to look up Webster's definition in the dictionary of what a recession is, it's 2 consecutive quarters where the market retreats. Well, I think it's pretty fair to say in the province of Ontario, right here, right now, I'm in Hamilton with Mike, we've had more than 2 months of retreat in sales price.
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I think we're probably like a year now. We've had this.
Absolutely.
And the hard part for most of the real estate professionals is the vast majority of them haven't been in the business for 30 or 40 years. So they have not seen this. Yep. So they're still trying to do business as if it was a pandemic market. They are suggesting aggressive pricing strategies and no offers until Monday, let's say. And the problem with that is Monday comes and there's no offers, or if they do get an offer, it's even significantly less than the aggressive pricing strategy. So I'm seeing agents going back to the things they did when we were undersupplied and we had lots of buyers. And that strategy isn't going to work today. We have to pivot and you have to adjust. Now I want you to think about it this way. We have more homes than we do buyers. So now you have to work with your sellers to incentivize a buyer to buy your property versus somebody else's. Most real estate agents look at this and they see it in one dimension: reduce the price, reduce the price, reduce the price. But there's other ways to get to the finish line. And it's not always through price reductions, though your house has to be priced properly today, without a doubt. You can't afford to have it slightly overpriced because it's not going to sell. Even at where the market says it is, what that's going to do is put you in a competitive spot with the other properties that are priced the same. We need to price a little bit less. But beyond that, there are things we can do to incentivize a buyer to look at your property versus somebody else's. So we want to come up with things that set us apart. Like, for instance, I would say you should explore buying down mortgage rates, and how a mortgage rate, say right now at 2.99, would get a lot of inquiries versus the rack rate at the bank or the posted rate at 4.6.
Yep.
And it's just a mathematical formula. Instead of reducing the price, the seller on closing buys down the buyer's mortgage and makes it more affordable for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever the term is. It's just math. I'll give you another example, Mike, something we did in a recession decades ago. If you bought a condo from me, you got a car. And you'd be like, well, how do you give somebody a car when they're buying a house? That doesn't make any sense. And I'd say, well, very simply, if it costs $500 a month, let's say, to lease a Honda Accord, that's $6,000 a year. Over a 3-year lease is $18,000. So what we would say is, instead of reducing the price of the condo by 20 grand, we'll leave the price where it is, but we'll give you a car if you buy it. So we'll lease your car for the next 3 years. Well, think about how that affects a person's total debt service ratio if they don't have a car payment built in, because it's all part of just the mortgage payment. Now the person's buying a condo and a car and getting a new car with it, and still fits in the affordability range. There's things like you could pay the buyer's legal fees to close the deal, or the seller could leave certain furniture pieces that would fit really nicely in the house, or they could be flexible on closing. And we can go down a list. There's a whole list of incentives. But what I'm looking for is people to be creative and get out of the traditional way of doing business. I also think that the pandemic market really kind of give people give people in our industry the idea that real estate is easier than it is. And I will tell you, the real estate market we're in right now will really separate the wheat from the chaff. You're going to find out who's good and who's not good.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the most important characteristics a salesperson can have is tenacity, fortitude, grit, if you want to call it grit.
Yep.
And this market's going to make them gritty. And the skills that they acquire in this market will build their character. And that character will ultimately affect how they go about doing their business. This is how people change. So as tough as this may be for the salespeople in Southern Ontario right now, and I realize it's a tough real estate market, it's going to force them back to the basics of our business. It's going to take them back to the principles. Part of being a really great salesperson is building relationships. And that means we need to talk to people, not text them, not email. You got to pick up the phone and have a conversation. And even better than that, go see them. For instance, we might, in a previous real estate market, get a counter offer from a seller agent to us, the buyer side of the transaction. And what we do, we call our buyer and we DocuSign the document over to them so that they can have a look at it, and then we can have a discussion over the phone. That's horrible.
It's funny that you say that, because I've been pushing hard on our agents for the last few months now that you almost need to have a standard. And the standard should be, whenever it's a negotiation about money, you always do it in person.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So if you do get a counter offer, or you're talking about reducing the price, that is not a conversation unless you do it in person.
Correct. I love that.
And if you can't go see them because of, you know what, people's lives are busy, we get it. The next best thing is maybe a FaceTime call.
Or Zoom.
Yep. Or Google Meet. Because I truly feel that with financials, it's such an important decision. It's a big decision that you need to see all elements of the consumer. You need to read their body language, their facial expressions, because that's going to tell you more to you about how they're actually feeling than the words they can express over a text. So
much. I agree with you so much on everything you said. 93% of communication is non-verbal. It's body language, facial expressions. And I think often messaging gets lost in a text. We're not even sure if somebody's mad or not mad at us sometimes, because we read things in that may or may not be there.
There's no context.
So I really think that your benchmark there, your metric about saying if it's got to do with money, it's got to be done in person. I think that is in fact, with your permission, I'd like to steal that, and I'd like to tell other people that, because I think it's true. I do think that we got to return back to some of the principles when it comes to looking for business. We have to work on our relationships. We should be farming locally to raise our profile. We should be working our sphere of influence and staying connected to the people that know, like us, trust us, love us, and would recommend us. We should be working on builders associations to develop relationships with the builders and the subtrades.
Yeah, and you're going down an interesting path because obviously we're a good sized brokerage, just shy of 170 agents at the moment, and obviously all agents have felt pain across all brands. Some more than others, but even here. But what I'm finding, not just in the brokerage, but industry wide, the agents that have felt the hit the most were the ones that have built a business on lead receiving. They just received leads, whether the referrals just showed up, and many of them used to buy leads.
Yeah, buy leads.
Yeah, they're all about buying leads. And now a lot of these lead generation companies, they're not putting out the volume that they promised because they don't have it.
Right.
And if they do have it, it's not the caliber it used to be.
Correct.
And they're losing their own customers because realtors are like, well, I'm not paying my $450 anymore because I'm not getting the leads. But now they're hurting because they're like, oh my God, I don't have business. Because up until now, although they've had a successful 3, 4, 5 year career, it's been a lead receiving career. They don't know how to go out and build relationships and generate that lead.
So I'm not at all opposed to connecting with a really good lead gen system that's driving business.
And neither am I, by the way.
But I am opposed to when people make it the primary source of their business.
Absolutely.
So I think diversification, by being diversified, it reduces your risk. So do I think if you have the resources and the lead systems driving in some business? Yes. Do I think you need to be in social media? Yes. Do I think we need print campaigns in a farm area where we are sending out postcards, constantly reminding people? Yes. Do I think that we should be in that farm area talking to them about our market report that we produce every 90 days on what's selling, what it's selling for, and what's going on to keep them locally informed? Do I think that we should build a specific business page for our community that we farm so that people at a local level get really connected with us? Do I think we should include the merchants locally in our social media and start to develop relationships with them so that we could help them grow their businesses and in return they could help grow ours? I mean, I could go down the list, but these are all about personal relationships. Belong to the Chamber of Commerce. People go to the gym, but my question is, what gym do you go to, and when time of day do you go to the gym? When do you go? Well, if I go at 7 o'clock in the morning, who are you going to meet at 7 o'clock in the morning? All the other people going to work. Is that your demographic? Who do you meet at 9:30 in the morning? Well, you're going to meet the moms. The kids are off to school. Mom's got a little one. They probably got a little daycare thing there, and they go in and have a little workout. Okay. Who do you meet in the afternoon? The senior citizens.
Yep.
Who do you meet at 5 o'clock? The coming home work crowd. And who do you meet at 7 o'clock? Those are the people that are looking for dates. So there's a different demographic at a different time, So,
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
I say all of this because I believe for the real estate agents that are truly committed, they're really on their game. There's business around us everywhere, but most of the time, most people don't have their radar up, and they're not asking everybody about real estate. And do you know anybody that wants to buy or sell? So I think that and one thing this market will do is it will focus people. You either focus or you're going to become a statistic. You're going to get knocked out of the business because it's going to take a lot of energy in this market and a lot of determination, a lot of grit, like I said. But I will say this for anybody that's listening, and it might be struggling right now, from your worst experiences will come your greatest growth. You never really learn how to be a great salesperson in a great real estate market because it's market driven, not skills driven. The last market you were in was a speed-based market. It really had to do with how quickly you could get to the front of the line with your offer to hopefully get your offer accepted. The real estate market we're in today is a skills-based market, and it's going to take people with great skill to persuade somebody to move forward, get the commitment, get the offer signed, do the negotiations, get it accepted, and steward it all the way through closing. So it's a skills-based market we're in now. And there are a lot of people who are not willing to put the effort in to develop the skills that are necessary, and they will become a statistic. They'll get pushed out of the business. Now, it's not going to be easy, but I promise you, the agents that soldier on, put their shoulder into it, push through to the other side. And I'll tell you what follows every bad real estate market, a good real estate market. And what follows every good real estate market is a great real estate market. And what follows every great real estate market is a bad real estate market. So we cycle through those three markets. I was always told by my mentor, good, great, and bad. And he would say, The great years have to look after the bad years, and the good years look after themselves. And if you've never been in a recession before, that won't really land. But if you've been through this before, you'll know that the years you make lots of money, you got to save some for the years that you don't make very much money. And the years that you make good money, they look after themselves. And I will go on to say that there are a lot of great opportunities in a dip in the real estate market. This is when people who have capital capitalize and buy some of the best opportunities. Money's not made when you sell real estate. Money's made when you buy it. And the best deals come up on the dip. We're on the dip right now.
Absolutely.
So this is, anybody who's sitting on cash right now is going to be getting a great house, going to be getting a great rental property, going to get great development property. The buys are happening now, but you got to have the cash to capitalize. Now, there are lots of real estate agents that would like to buy into this, but maybe they blew their money from the big market.
Yes.
So listen, guys, if you blew it, you're only going to do this once. And I promise you, though this feels like, is this the new norm? It won't be. Just when you feel like it's normal, the market's going to change again. It's going to get better. Rates are going to come down. They're going to deal with the trade challenges that will get it sorted out. Things will kick into gear. And the other thing you should know about real estate, it's not a lead industry, it's a lag industry. So I want you to think about this. People don't make major life decisions until they have confidence that everything's going to be okay. So what do we need first? We need an economy that gives everybody good, solid 6 months. Business is good. People are buying. People got jobs. Construction is starting. Things are good. And that's when they'll come out and say, you know what, I feel confident that the future is going to be okay. Let's make that big decision. So guys, understand, we're a lag industry, not a lead industry. And they will start talking in the news about how the unemployment rates dropped and this has happened and this good thing is happening. And you're still in real estate and you're not seeing it yet. You got to give the real estate buyer time to catch up to a good economy. And first we need a good economy. And I don't think we have that yet.
Yeah. Right now it's all about servicing the have to clients.
Yes.
I have to because we're 8 months pregnant and we're in a 1-bedroom condo.
Yes.
We have to because you know what? My father just passed away. I'm handling the estate. Mm-hmm. We can't afford to keep 2 houses. We need to unload it.
Yep.
So right now it's a have to client market, and that's who you should be working with.
Yes.
Until, like you said, the economy stabilizes and consumer confidence comes back, we'll have a larger buyer pool for sure.
Yeah. But, and normally these things feel like about 18 months, 24 months. So we're in the middle of 2025 right now. It's July. And I would arguably say it'll be this time next year when we feel the real estate. Now, remember, the economy may get out ahead of us and things may feel better for the general population, but they have to be consistently better for a while before the rest of the world says, hey, let's go buy a house. Let's go make the biggest decision in our life financially, and let's do it now. So we got to get some confidence. And when that happens, they will come back into the market. But I will say the agents that have made it through this period of time, they will be such exceptional real estate agents in the future, because if they can get through the tough times, they'll make a fortune in the good times. So guys, just soldier on, push on, continue to develop, grow, build your business. And I'm absolutely certain we're going to be having a different conversation in a year.
I think that's a great way to end it. You just soldier through, keep working on your skills. You're going to make a fortune when the tide turns.
Yes, it will.
So I think on that's a great way to end it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Love
It was
having
a pleasure
you as
today.
always.
It was an absolute pleasure.
And stay tuned for more great podcasts. Talk to you soon, guys.